Your finches are flashing different colors, and it's not just for show. You've seen them turn from bright red to dull brown, but what does it really mean? A single sick bird can change the whole flock's appearance. Stay to the end, because the truth about their health is more shocking than you ever imagined. Number 1. You've probably seen a finch with a bright red breast and assumed it was healthy, until suddenly it looked dull and washed out. What you might have thought was a change in mood or a bad day is actually a signal of sickness. A 2018 study in the UK found that sick house finches lose their carotenoid-based plumage, leading to duller coloration. This isn't just a passing fad, it's a biological response to illness. Their immune system is working overtime, and their vibrant colors are the first to fade. Your yard's finches may be sending a silent cry for help when their feathers lose their luster. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology reports that feather color in finches is closely tied to their immune health and diet. Bright, intense colors are a sign of a strong immune system and a nutritious diet. When a finch is infected, especially with Mycoplasma gallisepticum, it's not just their color that changes, it's their entire physiology. The bacteria interfere with their ability to absorb and process carotenoids, leading to the loss of that eye-catching hue. This isn't just a visual clue, it's a red flag for something deeper. What this means for you is that observing changes in color can help you monitor the health of your yard's birds. Finches that appear pale or washed out are more likely to be infected with Mycoplasma gallisepticum, a common avian disease. This is not just a matter of looks, it's a window into the bird's health that you might not have realized. If you spot a finch that's suddenly not as colorful as before, it could be a sign that it's unwell. But here's the twist, this is just the beginning. What we've uncovered so far is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what you thought you knew about your backyard birds. Number 2. You've always assumed that only male birds lose their color during tough times, right? But here's the twist. Female finches can fade too, and it's not about sickness, it's about survival. During nesting season, female finches often become less colorful, not from illness but from their own dietary choices. They're diverting energy and nutrients to their eggs and chicks, which means less carotenoid intake. This natural trade-off is a sign of strength, not weakness. What this means for you is that a duller female in your yard might be a dedicated mother, not a sick bird. You've probably seen a female bird with dull feathers and thought something was wrong, but the truth is more complex and fascinating. A 2021 study in the Journal of Avian Biology found that 70% of female finches experience a temporary loss of plumage brightness during breeding. This isn't a failure, it's an investment. Female finches are channeling resources into their offspring even at the cost of their own appearance. Their feathers may fade, but their parenting skills shine. This behavior is a powerful signal of health and fertility, not a sign of decline. It's a hidden language of survival that your backyard birds are speaking every day. Here's what you may not know. This fading isn't just about nesting. It's a strategy. Female finches may sacrifice their own plumage brightness to support the development of their young, even if it means looking less vibrant. This temporary dulling is a natural part of their life cycle, and it's not something to worry about. In fact, it's a strong indicator that your yard is a healthy, thriving environment for nesting birds. But this is just the beginning. What you think you know about bird behavior may be only the tip of the iceberg. Stay with us, there's more to uncover. Number 3. You always thought seasonal changes were only for birds that fly south for the winter, right? But here's the twist. Even the finches that stay in your backyard year-round change their look. They're not getting sick, and they're not losing their color. They're actually adapting. Their feathers shift in tone depending on the time of year, and it's not just a random thing. This change is influenced by factors like sunlight and their diet, which means your backyard is a living lab of natural transformation. What you might think is a dull, sickly bird in winter is actually a perfectly healthy finch undergoing a natural and essential change. A 2016 study published in PNAS showed that these shifts are linked to vitamin D levels and how much sunlight the bird is getting. This means your backyard finches are not just surviving the cold, they're thriving through a complex, science-backed process. Their plumage lightens as UV exposure decreases and their carotenoid intake drops, which is a normal and adaptive response to the seasons. So, the next time you see a finch that looks paler than usual, don't worry, it's not a sign of trouble, it's a sign of life in motion. Your backyard birds are constantly adapting, and this change is a beautiful example of how nature works in ways we often don't notice. What this means for you is that you're not just watching birds, you're witnessing a natural phenomenon right in your own yard. And just wait, the next revelation might change how you see the birds you've been feeding for years. Number 4. You've always assumed that a bird's color is fixed from birth, right? But here's the twist. What your finches eat has a direct impact on how colorful they look. The vibrant reds and yellows you see in some birds aren't just genetic, they're fueled by their diet. Sunflower seeds in particular are loaded with carotenoids, the pigments that give birds their eye-catching plumage. So, the next time you spot a flash of color in your yard, consider it a sign of a well-fed finch. What this means for you is that feeding the right foods can enhance the beauty of your backyard birds. Imagine a world where your finches could look duller than a rainy day simply because they're not getting the right nutrients. A 2019 study in the Journal of Nutrition revealed that finches on low carotenoid diets showed a 40% decrease in plumage vibrancy. This isn't just about looks, it's about health and survival. Bright plumage can signal better genes to potential mates, and the duller bird may struggle in the mating season. This means the food you provide in your feeder isn't just fuel, it's a tool for helping your birds shine. The colors you see in your yard are a living, breathing reflection of their daily meals. Now think about this. A finch foraging in a patch of land with scarce food may not just be a less colorful bird, it may be a struggling one. Limited access to carotenoid-rich foods can lead to duller feathers and weaker immune systems. This is a powerful reminder that your backyard isn't just a place for birds to pass through, but a space where their health and beauty depend on what you provide. And there's more. Some of the most shocking myths about birds and their habits are just waiting to be uncovered, right beneath your own eyes. Number 5. You always thought a dull-colored finch in your yard was sick or stressed. But what if the real story is far more shocking? Research from 2017 in the condor shows that when finches are running low on energy, their feathers actually lose their vibrant sheen. This isn't just about looking tired, it's a direct result of their body prioritizing survival over appearance. The color change is a signal, not of illness, but of starvation. Your yard may have more than just a few sick birds, it could be a silent crisis of hunger. What this means for you is that feeding can become a lifeline in disguise. The truth is, your finch's dullness might be a desperate cry for help. When they're struggling to find food, their bodies shift resources from maintaining bright plumage to fueling basic survival. Cornell lab researchers have observed that finches with access to feeders tend to stay more colorful because they don't have to sacrifice energy just to stay alive. This color change is not a sign of weakness or disease, it's a survival strategy. Think of it as a red flag, waving in the wind, telling you that your birds are not just struggling, but surviving on borrowed time. The deeper you look, the more you'll realize that your yard's birds are fighting back. You'll tend to sacrifice energy just to stay alive. The next time you spot a less colorful finch, don't assume it's sick. Consider that it might be starving. This shift in appearance is a survival mechanism that tells you something far more urgent than illness. Your feeders might be the difference between fading feathers and vibrant life. But here's the twist. The real story is even more complex. What you're seeing isn't just about hunger. It's about how deeply connected your actions are to the health of these birds. And what comes next may challenge everything you've believed about how nature communicates. Number 6. You always thought that finches changing color was just a natural part of aging or seasonal molting. But what if it was a silent alarm? Finches that turn dull or lose their vibrancy suddenly may actually be signaling danger or stress. This isn't just about looks, it's a survival tactic. Their color shift could be a response to nearby predators or even loud human activity. It's a way for them to blend in and avoid attention. What this means for you is that noticing these changes can help you understand the health of your local ecosystem. These changes aren't random. A 2020 study in Nature Ecology and Evolution found that finches exposed to high stress levels, like noise pollution, can experience a sudden loss of color. Imagine your yard being a stage for these subtle, urgent messages. A finch that turns dull could be reacting to nearby construction, traffic, or even a sudden predator intrusion. Its body is sending out a signal that something is wrong. This is a survival strategy honed over generations, not a beauty flaw. Your observation could be the key to identifying stressors in your backyard. What's even more surprising is that 60% of finches that changed color abruptly were in areas with increased human activity. This isn't just about the birds, it's about the invisible impact of our presence. The next time you see a finch that looks off, consider it a clue. It might be telling you more than you think, and this is just the beginning of what you'll learn about the unspoken language of birds in your own backyard. You always thought your finches were simply aging, their feathers fading with time. But what if their colors are changing because the seeds they eat are no longer the same? What if the red of their beaks, the gold of their feathers, is a warning, a whisper from a world that's no longer the one they were born into? It's not just about them, it's about us too, and the invisible threads that bind us to the natural world we've taken for granted. What if the colors of your birds are not just fading, but shifting? Not because they are sick, but because the very world they depend on is changing. You watch them grow up in your backyard, and now, as they age, they look different. But it's not them. It's the silence of the earth beneath them, the echoes of a climate that no longer supports the life they were built for. This is the truth you never saw coming, but now you can't unsee it. Next time you see a sudden shift in your finch's colors, ask yourself, what's really going on? Share your observations in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more backyard bird secrets. I'll see you in the next one.